constantly being told by advertisers that we must keep up with trends, we must stay fashionable, and rather than selling us a new wardrobe every season, we're bombarded by 52 seasons out of the year. And we chase these trends because we see commercials and advertisements, and the people look so happy because they have these things, making us feel like if we have that, we'll be just as happy too. So we get caught up in this cycle of chasing the next high from our purchase, only to find ourselves behind the game yet again, and all we're left with is a shirt that was trendy last week.
Like, we shop because we want to feel better and we want the relief from our stressful lives, but that consumption and constant adding to our lives, whether it's clothes or other things, is just adding so much stress and discontent.
I think the reason that we consume so much is that we don't pay attention. We have no idea how much we're consuming. We don't think about it. We don't know because we don't pay attention, because life is so fast-paced. Things are happening around us. We have so many responsibilities with work, and we don't pay attention. We're not mindful. We don't realize how much we're actually consuming.
I think that a deeper element of that is to be accepted. You know, if everybody else is doing it, everybody's buying the fad, then if we get it ourselves, then we'll be part of the group and we'll be accepted.
And consumers are so caught up in having the next thing that we never care to see what goes on behind the scenes. We're never told how we get these clothes for our 52 seasons. We don't know what they don't tell us, and that is what the true cost is. This is the true cost. It's a hidden fee retailers don't inform you about when you buy your $5 t-shirt. These are real people living in Bangladesh who make about $26 a month and work 14 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week to satisfy our drive for fast fashion.
Whether you buy your clothes from Walmart or from Giorgio Armani, they were probably produced in Bangladesh, which is ranked number 2 for garment production.
While we're worried about keeping up with the latest fashion trends, workers in Bangladesh are worried about their safety while working in these textile factories. This is Rana Plaza, a textile manufacturing building that collapsed on the morning of April 24th, 2013. Workers refused to enter the building because they had noticed the cracks in the walls, but the owner of the building, Sohail Rana, paid people to beat the protesting men and women with sticks to force them to go to work. At 8:45 that morning, the electricity in the building went out. Almost immediately afterwards, the workers began to feel the building move and heard a loud explosion. Within seconds, Rana Plaza collapsed, killing 1,137 people.
Rescue efforts in Dhaka continue in earnest, and 62 people trapped beneath the rubble. Officials said they hope to reach many more still buried.
We spoke to one of the survivors, a 15-year-old garment worker named Tamina. She told us that on the morning of the collapse, she didn't want to go into the factory because she'd already seen cracks in the walls. But she said her supervisor slapped her face and forced her to go inside.
How did we end up with fast fashion? Where did this come from? Perhaps the answer is in the ability of companies to deliver fashion faster and faster. You know, with the ability to deliver inexpensive clothes because they're made in places where the costs are the lowest and they can be turned around with the fastest speed possible and change weekly or monthly. Maybe that's just from having that capability, you end up with fast fashion because, you know, that satisfies a desire and a need in people. If that's the case, then it's that desire from the consumer that's driving it. And that's where the change has to come from.
While learning about the horrid working conditions for those in other countries, my husband and I were beginning a journey of our own called Minimalism.
Minimalism is the thing that helps you get past the things to make room for life's most important things, which turn out aren't things at all. I mean, if I really had to sum it up in one sentence, I would say minimalism is living intentionally. It's about using your resources in a way that are not just best for yourself, but best for the environment around you.
Essentially, minimalism is just eliminating the excess and taking control of the things that you allow into your life. And you get rid of the excess things that don't matter, and you make room for more of the things that do matter, the things that add value to your life, the things that are meaningful to you, not just the excess, not just random junk that we're told we want but we don't really want or need.
You get caught up in, like we see advertising, and we're supposed to dress like that, look like that, have the best things and the new things. And I think as we grow and learn, we figure out that having those things is not what life is all about.
By the time I started this journey, I didn't know what I wanted, besides I want to be a good husband, a good dad. But where in the world do I start? Well, I didn't know, but I thought I could at least get rid of some stuff and reduce. And so as I've done that, that's created more space for the things I do enjoy. Over the year that I've really made more of an effort to invest my time in that, I've been a better husband and a better father, and I keep getting better. And so I'm not as reactive, and so I don't just go out and buy things like I used to. For me, minimalism has helped me to have more quality. And what I want most is to be obviously husband, parent, but also foster parent here at Foster's. That's important to me. I have to be present.
Really my why, or my aim for simplifying my life, was health related. I was diagnosed with MS in 2006, and that was a wake-up call that I really could not ignore. So I started researching, what exacerbates MS? How do people live well with MS? And in all the research that I did, it kept coming back to stress as the main cause for decline in your health, and began to eliminate the stress in my life, starting with diet and then stuff and debt. And during that stuff period of time is when I launched Project 333.
So the thing with Project 333 is you limit yourself to 33 individual pieces of clothing to last you for 3 months. But you limit yourself, you limit what you have, and you realize that you don't need all this. You can't possibly wear 250 pieces of clothing in a week. You just need what you need day to day.
I think it's good for girls. It'd be good for my daughters. I see where trends, they're advertised, be this, be that, and it affects their personalities at such a young age and being impressionable. And I think with that Project 333, it's helping them be intentional and really question, what do they want? Not what everybody else wants. What do I want?
I'm reminded that this project really has so little to do with clothing, but how we relate to stuff. When I think about the guilt that I had in having clothes in my closet that still had tags on them, or clothes that literally did not fit me, but I was keeping just in case, that guilt was weighing on me every day. And when I finally decided to let go, and again, I didn't let go of everything overnight, but when I finally decided to let go, I let that guilt go with it. I feel much lighter and happier because of it.
I went through a personal transformation of, okay, I really don't need all this to be happy.
Simplicity for me is not the end goal. It's just part of it. It's just the thing that helps me really enjoy my life.
With minimalism, you're eliminating the excess, and you're paying attention to what you allow into your life, and it kind of like gives you the ability to keep track of what you have. That's what's beautiful about minimalism, is it gets rid of the clutter, and all that you're left with is yourself and your relationships, your family, your friends, the people around you that mean something to you.
Even though I didn't get into minimalism to be socially conscious, it does reinforce, our environmental imprint on the world and also human rights.
In the very beginning, I felt like just limiting my footprint was making a big difference, not only in my life, but environmentally as well. You make space to be aware of it and to be more thoughtful about your purchases, where before it was just, fast and furious for me. So now I can be more thoughtful about it.
I feel guilty as I go into Walmart. I want a cheap t-shirt. I don't like spending money on that. But at the same time, what is it costing these people and these children overseas who are working in the sweatshops to get cheap materials? I think it's interesting in our elections how we have both Democrats and Republicans talking about jobs and shipping them overseas, but yet does the American way of life want more expensive goods for us to bring these jobs back? So it's really going to force us to decide, what do we really want? Do we even want these jobs back in America? Is it just so we can spend more? So I think we need to address the consumerism and that issue there, because we want the jobs back in America. Our economy is based on spending and spending and spending. So we have a problem. What is the solution? I don't know.
So I think if you think in terms of what is the solution, if there's like one thing you could do that solves the problem, we're not going to come up with that. Minimalism is a factor, and people who are consumers and who follow that fast fashion thing, if we could all be more intentional about the purchases we make, how many purchases we make, I think we as individuals could gain some self-satisfaction out of, I'm doing something that may have a little bit of effect on a change here.
So I wouldn't say that minimalism is the answer to the problem or the solution, but I definitely think it's a step in the right direction, because it's kind of raising an awareness, and just you're more mindful about the purchases you make, the things you buy. I definitely think it's a step in the right direction, just as far as just being mindful and understanding the true cost of the things that we purchase and where they're coming from and who's producing these things. They're not just magically appearing in the store on the shelves. I think it's definitely a good thing. I think it's definitely contributing to the answer.
The moral argument is, don't end the purchase of Bangladeshi goods because it's going to harm the people over here. We want to improve their conditions. The only way we can improve their condition is to keep on buying and to put pressure on the suppliers and the buyers to improve the condition of these factories.
When you think about a solution, for everybody needs to be more purposeful. What do we really want, and are we willing to make the sacrifices for it? And I think to make a difference in our world, you've got to give your time and investment as a person. But I can't give my time as a person if I haven't developed myself. And I think that's it. How many of us have really matured emotionally, spiritually, in a way that's going to give value to other people. We feel empty ourselves. And so we're trying to fill ourselves up with stuff. And so we can't really give something we don't have. So I think minimalism, at least for me, is forcing me to look at what do I have to offer. And I think that's another way it can help.
The most important part about minimalism is understanding that how many things you have doesn't define you as a person. What defines you is how you treat people and how you view the world around you, and just loving one another and being a responsible human.
Although minimalism is not going to solve the world's problems, it is a step in the right direction. To me, minimalism is more of a method that makes us more mindful of our purchases and helps us to take responsibility for our contributions and their effects, both positive and negative. It's a way to remind ourselves that people are more important than material possessions, and it's an exercise that will help us to be more aware of the things that matter the most.
If you leave here with just one message, we hope it's this: love people and use things, because the opposite never works.
Every little thing you think that you need, every little thing you think that you need, Every little thing that's just feeding your greed. Oh, I bet that you'd be fine without it. Every little thing that you gotta have. Every little thing that you gotta have. You gotta reach for and you gotta grab. Oh, I bet that you'd be fine without it. So tear your eyes away, or tear